So, when looking at the latest AFK Journey season, Waves of Intrigue, I don't think I've ever seen a gacha game introduce so much new content with an update. Seriously, compared to the first season's Song of Strife, the difference is like night and day. And so, in this video, I'm gonna take a look at some of the biggest changes coming with this new season, because no matter if you're someone who quit the game, who's new, or if you're playing it right now, a lot of these changes are worth checking out, as you will see for yourself. Now, just to be clear, this video is sponsored by the developers, which I'm grateful for, and the content I will show you is from a test server, so things might differ from the global version. Either way, I highly recommend downloading AFK Journey to experience this new season. You can do this by using my link in the description, and there's also a gift code you can use to get some extra goodies. Okay, starting off with the new zone, you get to be a boat captain, and it's not just a glorified avatar change on water. There are some things you can do unique to the boat, like follow the wind currents for a speed buff or debuff if you go up against it. There's enemies you can fight, and even the fishing minigame made a comeback, so you can fish right there from your cute boat. In fact, fishing has been rebalanced. Now you can level it up to unlock all sorts of new abilities, and I think even the minigame itself has been improved. Of course, if you're a rewards-oriented player, you'll be able to get a bunch of them from this fishing event. Now, there's also some changes made to exploration. For example, there are some stealth missions. I mean, it's bare bones basically, but you can use the bell to distract the enemies, although long story short, just don't get into their cone of vision. I don't know, it's simple, but it changes the pace, so it's nice. And there's also this new alchemy minigame that's pretty interesting as well. But as for the story itself, I didn't delve too deep into it cause, you know, I'm on a test server, but from what I can tell, the new big city Rustport is caught in a war between two factions led by these two sisters, Sonia and Nara. So there's some family dispute basically going on, and the new zone itself is like a lawless land. There's a lot of violence going on, and I mean, just by examining this industrial look of Rustport, you can tell some shady things happen all around it. So yeah, the goal, I guess, for Merlin would be to help establish some kind of order in Rustport. But that's pretty much it when it comes to exploration and story. I didn't cover everything, but I think the biggest takeaway in my opinion would be the change of the actual pace, where usually you just explore and do puzzles on foot, but now this time instead, you can use a big old boat and travel the waters for secrets. Now, looking at the new gameplay aspects, man, I don't know even where to begin because it's too much info for me. Anyway, I think the best place would be the faction talents. In a nutshell, in some game modes, for example, when grinding AFK stages, you can choose to do talent trials, and in there, whenever you deploy 3 units from the same faction, a special tile will light up, where you can place any unit on it and they will become the prime carrier. What this means is that they gain a unique ability that they will be able to use throughout the battle. For example, Lightbearer's prime carrier will summon a shadow copy of themselves after casting their ultimate, who will then cast that ultimate again, but with weaker stats. But let's say if it's a Wilder's prime carrier, they will then sacrifice their own HP to gain a permanent shield and becomes immune to all crowd control effects, but also their attack speed and range improves in a major way. I mean, it's a very interesting take on team building, because if you look at the talents themselves, there's a lot of them you can unlock. I mean, sure, most of it is just plain old boring stat boosting, but once in a while, you can also gain a new skill mechanism ability. So for example, I put some points into Hypogean/Celestial faction talents, and now the prime carrier will also restore HP to themselves after attacking enemies with the ability, while by default, the tile buff allows the unit to deal true damage and stun enemies. Now, because you need to spend this new resource, talent orbs and essences to level up the faction talents, in my opinion, it's best to focus on the faction you're playing the most, so you can capitalize on these newfound abilities and buffs, because it will be important to make sure you push as far as possible in AFK stages, and those talent faction bonuses will be crucial. But just like in the previous season, another huge change comes in the form of new seasonal artifacts. Now, so far, I've only managed to unlock 2 of them, but there's 10, which is like insane. But yeah, the first artifact seems like a nice chain heal spell, which first prioritizes to be cast on the weakest ally, and then it will bounce a few more times. The other one, called Resonating Spell, seems like an interesting power boost to the reremost ally, because whenever anyone casts their ultimate, this ally will recover energy, and when they do cast their ultimate, they will gain immunity and attack boost, which is nice. And I can already see some team comps utilizing this strategy. I mean, it's been a while since the early days, when most of the time we would just use the Star Shard spell for a lot of content. Speaking of which, a lot of existing battle modes will undergo some changes. But I also want to point out this new game mode that will be added with the season called Heroic Gaunlet. Basically, every 2 weeks, one of the characters will become a boss with enhanced abilities. For example, in this server, Marilee right now is the active boss, and beating her on all difficulties nets you a bunch of good rewards, including Twilight Essence. Still, we gotta talk about the new characters as well. And starting off with Dunlingr, I really like this guy because his ultimate is a game changer, quite literally. Basically, he will summon this massive bell with his ultimate, and one of two things will happen depending on how you set it up. Either everyone on the battlefield will gain Spellbind debuff, which prevents ultimate casting, or everyone will gain Cure Lock. So nobody, and I mean even your own team, cannot recover HP. This is like such a big slap to the face for so many teams, it's kind of funny to be honest. However, I kind of think that Dunlingr is going to be best only for PvP. It's very hard to see him doing well in other modes, since those debuffs do not work on bosses. Now, there's also Nara, and her design kind of reminds me of Jinx from League, which is a big positive for me at least. But in a nutshell, her ultimate deals big single target damage, and if the target is below a certain percent of HP, it will be true damage instead. But what's really important here are the phantom chains she can cast on the enemy. You see this icon appear here on the enemy team when placing Nara around? Well, when the battle starts, she immediately pulls the marked target right next to her, and in a few moments, she can also unleash her ultimate thanks to the big amount of initial energy she starts with. And then afterwards, she actually continues pulling enemies with her chains. So more or less, she's pretty amazing for breaking up those annoying enemy backlines and pulling in some crucial units like snipers or healers. And then finally, the new A-level unit Sinbad is also going to be available later on. I believe his banner drops on October 4th, and you will mostly get to know him through the storyline, as he is considered to be this information broker for Rustport. You know, your typical neutral fellow who mostly looks out for himself. But yeah, these are the biggest changes I wanted to cover. Although I will say, the amount of freebies and events this season comes with is really staggering, to be honest. There's login gifts with a decent selector, there's 2 new primal lords you can fight, you can also later on unlock a cute new costume for Marilee, so add some flair to your Dream Realm boss killer, but there's also a nice and simple season milestones page you can follow and redeem rewards when getting points from various seasonal activities, and this also includes the new artifacts I mentioned previously, and then there's going to be a bunch of new events and free rewards and all those goodies coming along in the future, so I'm pretty excited to see how this new season unfolds itself. Like for example, on this test server, we got an early preview of Crystal Clash event, which was also available in Season 1, and I found a certain Jingliu enjoyer defending his crystals. Sorry Braxophone, but these crystals are mine now. But yeah, hope you found this video interesting, and I would really appreciate it if you could use my link in the description and download AFK Journey. This will help support my channel, and I mean it's a free gacha game with some really cool character designs and a beautiful open world you can explore. Anyway, thanks for watching and the support, and I'll see you next time.